Saluton, and welcome to this Markov Dossier Adventure Report. My name's Scott, and I'm here with Sam.
Howdy, Pilgrims.
And we're trying something a little different. We're going to go over a battle report that we did a little while ago. We played a 125 points game. It was my order versus Sam's Enlightened. It was a fun game. We'll kick off with the first photo.
So you're thinking, well, that doesn't look like much is happening. It's just an action point card. You know when you have one of those games, from the very first card we drew, I knew, like, it's going to be one of those games because that is my card draw for initiative. Yes, I won the initiative. 4 action points just gone.
Yeah, it was like the only thing that would have been worse if you'd drawn the 5 card, but yeah, it was pretty bad, and that's the theme throughout this game.
Yeah, the cards were definitely not playing with us, were they? They were just coming out when we didn't need them. The high points were coming out when we really could have done with a high point. Here's a 1. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So the game that we played was the Swirling Vortex of Doom. I can't remember what it's called, what its official title is. Can you remember what it was? The Rift, that's it.
Badlands scenario. The Badlands scenarios, if you've not played them, you can still find them on the website. You have to go digging into the old 2nd edition stuff. But there is a Badlands scenario pack. What's its proper name? Badlands scenario pack, I think.
Yeah.
And in there's a few new scenarios and a lot of hazards to play with, along with some templates to cut out and print. That's an official one I've cut out and printed in the middle there. That is a swirling vortex of doom that basically bimbles around the battlefield and destroys anything it touches. Or if you're a model, you get chucked around a bit.
Yes, well, and the Pierce -4 hit as well on top of that. So it's a nasty thing. You draw initiative at the end. You draw an initiative card at the end of the round, I believe, or is it the start of the round?
Yeah, it's the end of the round, and then you've got to move.
Yeah, you get to move it D5 or D10 inches.
It was 2D10
inches, wasn't it?
2D10 inches in the direction you choose.
Yeah, and everything it crosses gets either erased or a Pierce -4 hit. So it's not anything to snuff at. We set up
points by being close to it at the end of the round without being dead.
Yeah, it was a scary thing to have just randomly wandering around the table. We set up a nice industrial table at Black Dragon Miniatures in Hinckley. It's where we always play. My force was very elite, my order 1. I asked on the council, should I go for a more spiker heavy force or a more Corcoroli heavy force? And everybody said, go for the Corcoroli. So I had Elita Nura, Aaron Bran, Vicinity, Helios, and then I had Makara, I think it was Noth, a squad of 3 Luminant cohorts and a squad of 3 Nyx cohorts. So super elite stuff.
Filth. Pure filth.
Yeah.
Horrible. My force on the other side of the table from that is my Enlightened force. It's not my force. My force isn't finished yet, but I'm building a spider in the web force. So on there is legendary Gustav Eiffle, 2 Strider. Have I got 2 Strider cabs? I can't. Did I bring 2 Strider? Yeah, 2 Strider cabs. A bunch of menials and henchmen. 2 squads of widowers and Kyle the Black as well, and some brutes. So it's a good, solid, Enlightened force. At least I thought it was solid.
Yeah. I think we were both scared of what was on the other side of the table because you got 2 like nasty bosses and a lot of chaff around them. And obviously Corcoroli, people remember from last edition that they just laugh at anything that gets thrown at them generally.
But it's called a meat grinder for a reason, and with Corcoroli you definitely are going to get a meat grind.
Yeah, it was fun.
You get more proof the cards are against us. So that's my 4 points for my first active, for my initiative there. Then I pulled a 2 and another 4. All on the first round. 2 and a 4 on the first round. of activations. Absolutely flipping useless to me. Didn't get it right. It's like, that's not good.
Yeah, burning through the good cards fairly quickly for stuff that was not useful.
Yeah, try making something of it, but all I could do was get up the board a little bit quicker.
So this is my card, so I drew the 5 for my second activation. So this completely and totally threw me for a loop when I drew this. We'll see in a minute when we get to my turn that I really struggled to figure out what to do because I'd only activated one unit, and I think it was Noth who just moved forward ever so slightly. It was a tricky situation to be in.
So that's after, I think it's not quite end. Is that end of turn one? We've all shifted a bit.
It's just before turn 1, I think.
Oh, after deployment and
Trail finders, yeah.
Trail finders. You can see Eiffle's tanked up the board a bit. The henchmen and menials have come with him. My widowers are holding at the back, and I've got my brutes just holding on the corner of that tower there because I can see. You can't see it on this picture, but just behind the tower on Scott's side is the tumbler. And I was thinking, I'm not having that come down here.
Yeah, I thought I'd placed him really well.
Yeah,
but then
because I thought, I'm not having that come down here, so I'm going to lie in wait for you and hopefully out-activate you so that you have to move the tumbler and then I can shoot you.
Yeah.
Didn't work that out quite so well.
And Francis Tumblety was also down on that side as well, hiding out.
I've got Francis Tumblety as well.
Yeah, he's hiding out somewhere around there, so...
I think he's just under the stairs.
Yes. So this is from my side of the board. You can see the tumbler in the corner we were just talking about. So, and then as you can see, just up in Sam's corner, you can just see Mr. Tumblety hanging out there on lookout. So I think Sam got to go first, if I remember rightly. And then I pulled that 5 card that you can see on the table there.
Okay. Yes. Was that what I did with one of my 4-point? I thought I've got nothing else, so I just scuttled Eiffle up the mountain and sat him on the top. It was out of range of everything, but it looked cool. I got called out. That's impassable terrain, and I just went, Spider-Man!
Yeah, I said, go for it. It looks cool. It's a bit of fun. So yeah, I just said go for it for certain.
Yeah, what else can you do with a high value point guard? I was like, I'm just going to climb up this mountain and sit here and look cool. That's all I could do.
Yeah, on the one hand, he made a target for himself. On the other hand, he's a giant spider with Gatling guns on it. I'm not going to go within range of him.
Oh, don't he look cool up there?
It does. It looks very cool. It's a very, very nice picture.
I'm going to have to finish his base off, put some tufts on there or something.
Yeah,
that's flat.
It's a shame you can't get tumbleweed stuff because I'm going to have the same problem with the King Scarab.
The run of bad cards continues.
Yeah.
Now is not the time for these cards.
Yeah, first turn, first couple of activations. If I remember rightly, that was a split personality as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. Smash and grab, split personality, and there's the 4 card. I'm like, great. What am I doing for? Smashing, because he's slow as though. Right about it, I was like, oh great, lumber up he goes, bum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba dum. Such a good use.
Yeah. It just the cards definitely didn't like you.
One little bit today.
No. It was quite funny, but
what was really funny was weren't you using my deck as well?
Yes, I was. The last time I used your deck.
Oh, you often commented that whenever you use my deck, they turn on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've got to get yourself a new deck because you don't like using it because we got confused with the old deck.
Yes, I definitely need to get an old deck. And an old deck, I need to get a new deck.
So every time you use mine, the cards turn out. Well, they turned on me today.
Yeah, so this is my activation. Elita has popped up some portals, and then I've had Erin and Benicity Helios move up near her as well.
You took hell of a risk putting that portal right next to the rift.
Yeah, at the time I did.
Then moving some of your high-end players, high-end models through it. Oh, if I get control of that rift, you're in trouble.
Yeah, it was not a smart play, but I was panicked with that 5 card. It totally threw me. I put it on Elita Nura, and I basically, because portal generation is a special action, I can only do 1 lot. So I popped it out before I moved forwards, so all the core already had somewhere to go. Then I moved to the side because the plan was then to put one there, and then I have 2 lots of portals, and I could come out of either end, which, you know, we'll see later. But that sort of worked, and it sort of didn't. But yeah, it really threw me for a loop, that 5 card, and I ended up bunching everybody together, which was a little bit dangerous with Eiffle there. But as we'll see, it worked out okay in the end.
It worked out okay for somebody. So what's coming next?
I think this was all of your widowers moving forwards by the looks of things.
Yeah, it looks like just basically this slow, inexorable advance of the Enlightened. I really need some faster models, and I've gone and purchased some. I've got myself a nice box of Seekers, because they can shift up the ball quite rapidly. I mean, they're rubbish, but they go.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the explosive detonators, haven't they? So
yeah.
They're just rolling bombs, which is pretty cool, to be fair.
Best kind of bombs. The explodey kind.
This is where your widowers moved up onto the ramp.
This worked out really well. So, right, I'm going to scuttle up to the platform and move myself across here, and then I'll have a nice vantage point to shoot people from. That was the plan. They're a bit stacked up because the middle platform has got missing floor, but we roll because they're agile. That wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
We'll scuttle across.
Yeah. And I decided running up the side just to go off against 4 brutes was not a smart move, so I'd tried to manoeuvre around, forgetting that the vortex could, you know, quite easily swallow me whole given the opportunity. So it was a bit of a bad play. This is the roll for the movement of the portal. It went 11 inches.
Yes, and you had control, didn't you?
No, you had control. You had control the first time. It was the second time that I had control.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the roll for the vortex move. Sampled the card and got the control of it. So as you can see, bit of terrain gone. My portal gone. And it hit my poor old tumbler.
Yes, but your tumbler survived. It did get chucked around, but it did survive it.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I mean, the grit is 6, so I expected to fail that, but it just chucked me back a little bit, as you can see here, out of the way. So not the worst outcome for certain, but getting pushed back. Now the game's a little bit slower movement-wise. Being moved back is definitely not what you want to happen. But the other thing is my portal is now gone, which I really not needed but wanted there.
Yeah, so our entire tower's just been deleted off the board.
Yeah, so this is turn 2 now. Tower's been deleted. I think, if I remember rightly, I won the initiative on this one. I got to go first.
I think you did, yeah. Okay, I think I know what the next picture is. Should be... Oh no, it's not what I was expecting. Oh, it is, because is that Vanacti coming out of her portal?
Yes, that's her coming out of her portal. And I want to personally thank Chris and Stuart for removing the random direction of her grenade, because I have, and it also happened, we tested the theory, I have every single time I've thrown a grenade with Helios, it has always come back and hit me and killed me, because it's a solar grenade, I believe, which is like a Pierce -4 blast weapon. So as soon as it hits me, her grit is 5, so I'd basically roll in a 9 or a 10 to survive, and she never does. So now it doesn't scatter.
You drop the bob on, and you hit 4 menials out of the pitch just like that.
Yeah.
And then, I just tested it. I just went, what happens if it would scatter? And he went, it's come back to me.
Yeah, scattered right back on top of her, practically over her. It was quite funny, and also a big relief for me.
I think we've gone a little too far the other way now. I think for example, if you roll a 1, you definitely should be scattering the grenade.
Yeah, I think that's something that Wild West Exodus definitely would benefit from, is more use of the critical failure.
Yeah.
So random scatter for the grenade would definitely be a good idea. Same with grenade launchers. And I think if like something like a flamethrower on a critical failure,
boom.
It could potentially go kaboom, or miniguns jam, or something a little bit more thematic.
I think critical failure would be something we'd like to see built into the game. Not every weapon, not everything, but some things is just begging to go wrong. Flamethrowers are definitely one of those things. Jetpacks as well.
Yeah.
Can you, if you're doing your flight check, you have to do. If you're doing a flight, if you roll a 1 on your flight check, down you go.
Yeah. It just cuts out midair, and you have to take full damage or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the more powerful stuff, like the solar grades, are really powerful. They're a Pierce -4 thrown blast weapon, so the range isn't massive, but it's a big ouch when it hits you. So on a 1 scattering, I'd be okay with that for certain.
Yeah, so that's the photo of the 4 dead menials.
Yeah. Very toasty. I'm surprised that Smash and Grab survived. I believe I hit them with it. And obviously, Smash and Grab not happy with what he's just seen.
No. So I piled in and started swinging. And that all happened. And then didn't Bran also pop up and start? That was your next move, wasn't it? Bran came up and it became a 3-way melee.
Yeah. You can see here, Bran decides, I think I drew a 2 action point card. Yeah. So I decided to go through the portal and then move into hand-to-hand combat. I couldn't charge because you can't charge through portals. So he was pretty ineffective. He popped the smoke screen.
I was about to say that. Just in case anyone's wondering, that's a smoke screen we put on the...
Yeah, I popped smoke screen because I just felt like they were both going to be too out in the open if I somehow managed to beat Smash and Grab. So
I've absolutely no problem with shooting into melee. I don't care if they die.
No.
So it's getting into a nice, good old-fashioned throwdown here with not much actually happening. The Illumians pop up, and I'm thinking, I'm about to die in large quantities here. How many dice do they chuck down?
9 dice for all 3.
9 dice.
So I put them on the lookout when they came out of the portal because I was worried I was going to get shot off the board by the Widowers.
Yeah.
So yeah, then yes, this is where Noth has come out of the portal as well, and then you decided rather than Noth taking down Smash and Grab, you were going to take down Noth, so you charged Kyle into the combat, which was quite the pile on.
There's a pretty good melee going on here now.
Yeah, it was a proper old Royal Rumble tussle in the middle of the board. So I brought out the Luminant, who had a pop at the menials.
And rolled... This is going to be one of the most spectacularly bad rolls I've ever seen when you popped at it. You rolled, it says here, Scott's Lumians pop through the portal and open fire on my menials. Doesn't go well. What did you need to hit? With
aim is 6, I think.
So basically you needed 4 or more to hit me, I think. And so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dice here. You rolled 1, 2, 3 ones, 1, 4, 6, 7. So you did get 1, 2, 3, 4. You did get 5 hits.
5.
Five's all of them.
Yep.
You just went, yeah.
Yep. The menials were just somehow immune to
some of the most devastating firepower in the game. You're just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Just went through the arms and legs and then just feel no pain.
Hits, I made 6 grit checks, so I only lost 1 menial.
Yep. I was devastated by that.
And you got your revenge in the next couple of slides.
Yeah. So you decided to move your Widowers out into the open a bit more.
And I've got a clear shot here, and I just opened fire on things, completely forgetting you were on the lookout.
Yeah.
I thought, well, I was possibly getting a bit cocky as well, because my menials had just survived. I thought, this would be great. So you return fire on the lookout, and... Yeah,
it was pretty brutal. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it just absolutely killed that was it.
That is your save roll for your menials. I believe I got every hit but 1 from the Luminant, and that is Sam's saves rolls. 3 1s was shocking.
Yeah. All my widowers died.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they're there for.
Yeah, that's what they're there for. It's nice if they get to shoot first.
I mean, they did get to shoot first, but they also shot at somebody that could shoot before they could.
Yeah. My next picture, the caption on it is just, I hate these guys. Just your Lumius and me just going, I hate these guys. In a very unlikely turn of events, the menials charge into the Lumians, and despite Scott's excellent parry roll resulting in a +5 to his grit, he still managed to ace his grit check, and one of his Corcaroli bites to dust.
Yes, this is where you charged in. This roll here is Sam's roll to hit against my Luminant, which was horrendous. Like 6 hits against 3 guys, and like Sam just said, I still managed to pull off one of those rolls, even though I shouldn't really.
You carried everything. It was like, that's great. It's gonna be fine. Now this was my big ploy. Makara's just in front of me. I can tell she's on lookout. Well, because there's a big token next to her. That's the big clue. And I've got Eiffle there. Now I'm in range of charging, but I don't really want to charge into Makara when she's on lookout. So my plan was to send anybody else just to get her off lookout, and then hammer into her with Eiffle.
She came off lookout to charge forward as far as she could, so I could try and get her into combat with Eiffle.
Eiffle gave you some torrent, which you survived.
Yeah. It missed, if I remember rightly, because that's the 3 and an ace, so...
Yeah, it just absolutely didn't touch you at all.
That didn't go to plan. You don't have much success with torrent weapons.
No, this is possibly my curse. Every time I try and use a torrent weapon, absolutely nothing happens.
Yep.
And they slammed into each other, and we did a good 2 rounds of combat, round of combat each, and nothing at all happened. Didn't phase Makara, didn't scratch the paint on Eiffel's spider at all. No. So we had to get a Strider Cav to come in.
Yeah, so Strider Cav came in, but again he didn't scratch me. Right, so this is where I try and return the favour of my close combat specialists with their nice big swords against some brain dead, useless meat shields. If I remember rightly, I don't think I killed more than 2.
No. New portal.
Yes. Yes.
That's Elita Nura sneaking round the back.
Yeah. I popped up a second portal. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Well, it did get you around the back. I think you were looking for victory points for being in my area.
Yes, I was. I was looking for victory points for having a support in the area. So this is where we run into a bit of a conundrum. So I used that portal to bring forward my tumbler. I checked the rules to make sure that he could fit through. It said it was fine, so he popped through, came out. So the problem was that with tumbler, as you can see on the model, has 2 weapons mounted to the side of the front of the model.
Yeah, clearly forward facing.
Yeah, but it doesn't have the front facing rule on it. It essentially means that I can fire 360 degrees with my weapons. So we decided we would house rule it, and I could fire at them, but if I fired at them I would have to turn and face them as part of that action, so my new facing would be forwards.
Which is, we thought would be interesting because the tumbler, even though it's very maneuverable, still has to use the turning template.
Yeah, so I had to be okay with the fact that I
was no longer facing in the direction you wanted to be, because you were firing into my deployment zone, but you weren't in it, and you were now facing the wrong way, so you had to turn.
Yeah. But I thought, take a couple of henchmen out on the way. It was kind of worth it.
Zappity zappity.
Yeah, pew 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 pew. And as you can see,
in the middle now.
Yeah.
Who's dead? There's somebody dead there, is it?
That looks like Smash and Grab went down. I believe that was Noth that took him down, potentially. Because I don't think it was Bran or Helios.
Yeah, so look. In the middle of the board, it says, in the middle of the board, Mass Melee, Smash and Grab goes down. and it looks like it's from the way I'm taking the photo, it's probably Nos that took him down.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain it was Nos. I know that Aaron and Helios hadn't activated yet, and I wanted Nos to take them down so I could free up Helios and Bran in the middle. Yeah, like you say, there's the photo. Good old Corcaroli doing his job properly.
Yeah, it's because he got a name.
Yeah, there was your roll for your saves, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
Ouch! And it was already disordered, so he couldn't metal. This was the inevitable demise of the Tumbler.
It's got "Please kill me" written all over it.
Yeah. Was it the flamethrower ones? Yeah, then the flamethrower ones. Yeah, they just moseyed around the corner and roasted me like a marshmallow over a campfire.
Yeah. And down you went.
Yeah.
I love my brutes.
They're horrible things to face. I think they're...
Paint. It was one of my favourite paint jobs I've done.
Yeah, they're really nice paint job on them. And they're really nice models. The fact that you can mix them up a little bit as well really helps.
Sorry, that was an humble brag, wasn't it?
It's fine.
I'm actually proud of some of my paintwork.
I accept it and I condone it because they do look really, really good. I would be happy with them. So this is Portal of Vortex move number 2.
Yep. Who had control of it this time? Was it you?
It was me that had control of it, so I bought it back. I don't know why I bought it back this way. I'm sure there was a good reason for it.
But trying to do something, but you ended up killing off one of your own nicks.
Oh, I remember why I did it. It's because I wanted a clear line of sight to your brutes with my Illuminant, but there was a big mountain in the way. So I thought if I delete it, then I've got a clear line of sight and I can just shoot them down that way. Unfortunately, like you say, I managed to clip the base of one of my Illuminant and they vanished. Yes. Sadly.
Lost to the void. Right.
Yes.
Is this where Tumblety kicks in?
Yeah. Yeah, this is where he came in. I'd freed Helios and Bran from the combat, so I decided to move Helios forward and try and solar grenade the brutes.
But what happened was I used Tumblety with his Dark Council to activate the brutes and shredded you with Gatling fire.
Yeah, I tried to quicken the dead. I failed, which was very annoying.
I failed quicken the dead with her.
Yeah.
Did you roll a 1?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
That's the only way you could fail it.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, and like you say, she just got shredded to pieces. There's another thing that we had, because I remember us talking about it, is that I failed the quicken the dead on another attack. I think the flame brutes tried to quicken the dead me, and I failed it. But then the Gatling brutes tried to quicken the dead me, and there's nothing to say anymore that you can't use it. You can only use it if you're not hunkered. It doesn't say you can only use it once per turn.
We ruled that you probably... What did we rule? Was it you could quicken the dead once? What did we rule in the end?
We ruled it was quicken the dead once because it seemed like if you failed it, there should have been a penalty of some kind. So we just ruled it as she'd already tried and she'd failed, so she can't do it again. But reading the rules, it's a reaction. And reactions happen against any actions. There's no limit on reactions. So if you fail it,
you can keep doing it.
You can keep doing it. But I can see why they've done it, but I don't know. It just seemed better that if you failed it before, that you can't do it again in the same turn.
The obvious problem with that is, of course, if you succeed in doing it, you can't do it again either because you're now hunkered.
Yeah. So it's I don't know. It's a weird interaction, and maybe it is right because, like say, if you are hunkered, you can't quicken the dead again anyway. Whereas if you failed it, like you didn't get out of the way in time, so maybe you could just jump out of the way.
Again. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. It was an interesting little thing that we never noticed before because it's very rare that I've failed quick checks. Let's see the photo of her down and didded from the Gatling brutes. It's a shame you can't get Sonic brutes big phonic roots.
Yeah.
That'd be quite cool.
That would definitely be a model I'd buy. Do neat. That's a set you don't see very often. The Edison set. On the photos. It is one. I remember when it came out, I did want it, but again, pushed down my list of I've got to get that at some point.
Yeah.
What we got here?
Looking at the photo, it may be that Elita has, if I remember rightly, she went through the portal and then came out the other side and went into the back of Kyle and tried to hit him that way, but it was pretty ineffective, to be fair. I didn't expect a lot.
Just bounced off his chunky backside.
Yeah, but I didn't want her to be just left in the middle of the board, vulnerable to the brutes after what had happened with everything else. This is more of the middle melee. I believe that's my hand, and I've taken off Aaron Brand because the Widowers came down and shot him to pieces.
Yes, Aaron Brand is gunned down by Widowers.
Yeah, again, Widowers.
Everything for you.
Yeah.
That's absolutely what be happening.
It was really funny because I remember distinctly that you moved them forwards, you gunned them down, and then I was like, I could have quickened the deaded that. I hadn't used it on him before, and he's got it, and I totally forgot about it, even though we'd just discussed it with Helios. I was like, why didn't I do it with him? Didn't make any sense. But anyway. So, this... Yeah.
Finally got Makara down. This took every card I had in my hand. I just needed action points. I was burning action points to get more hits. And when I finally took it down, I went, yes! I've got a victory point. No, I haven't, because I just burnt it for an action point. What? After all that, I killed her. I didn't get a point for it.
Yeah, it was...
I was gutted. Die! And then, yes! Oh, drat.
Yeah, it was so harsh, but like you say, you threw absolutely everything at her 3 times.
I earned every fortune point and guts guard I have to take Makara down.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the final guts part, I have the glory point on it for killing the boss.
Yeah. And it would have made the difference as well. So this was the final move before we ended the game. The Vortex. Sam got control of it, and he decided, do you know what? Let's get rid of these Corcaroli, and just for some vengeance. And unfortunately, Kyle was in amongst that, but I think Kyle survived.
No, it killed everybody.
Did it?
The Rift plows into the pack middle and killed absolutely everybody it touched. No one survived that.
Oh, I thought somebody survived.
No, all those models died.
Yep.
Yeah, when we did the Sally, new Markov Dossier champion is you.
Yeah, so I won 2-3, all card victory points. Getting into a deployment zone, the centre line, having somebody within the centre line, and then killing an enemy in enemy unit in a shoot action.
Yeah.
With the Widowers off the plank. None of us scored any victory point.
We're supposed to hang around near the rift at a certain distance, weren't we? But it wasn't turned back, so we didn't apply those.
No, it was the board was divided into 3s, and you got a point from a card, and you got a point at the end of the game because you had the Strider Cav and Eiffle in one of those zones at the end of the game.
And that was it.
If you'd have not burnt your other card, it would have been a draw. But I snuck a victory in. There's my beautiful face with the championship. It was a good game. All the Badlands scenarios are a ton of fun. You can still get hold of them on the website, and they still work pretty well. We had to slightly modify it, didn't we?
There was a rule that didn't apply anymore. Displace.
Yeah.
We just re-put the rule back in and said, okay, so this is what happens when it hits you and you survive. You just get chucked around there.
Yeah. Yeah, the Vortex was like, it was always a looming threat, because if you pulled the wrong card at the wrong time, like, you lost control of that, and you could just, if you rolled well with those 2 dice, you could probably go through the entire enemy force if you had placed it in the right area. It was a fun little scenario.
Yeah, we'll definitely revisit the Badland Pack, because there's 4 or 5 different scenarios, and there's a whole bunch of hazards in there as well, which you can put on top of the scenario. So the rift, we could put on top of the rift, we could have put the Keening Cry Shack, the Eerie Shack, the Stygian Fields. There's all sorts that you could play on there. Well worth a look if you haven't seen them.
Yeah, it's what I based my original Project Barnum scenario on. Was one of the hazards is a rogue canine, and I just adapted it ever so slightly to fit with a dino instead. So, well worth checking out. Anything else you want to add?
No, we can't wait for the next game. I think we're doing... Are we doing Exodus next, or are we doing Dystopian Wars next?
I don't know. It will be one of the two. If we're doing Exodus, we decided I got a prize from Driftwood Games. They sent me the Pride of the Necromata box, and I picked up, because it's going very, very quickly, is the Tribal Retribution Posse box to go alongside it.
We wanted to do a classic...
A Western-style movie of...
Union versus Warrior Nation, didn't we?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. So we're going to do an 125 battle of that. If it's not that, it's probably going to be the Dystopian Wars, just trying out the new rules, basically. Probably Crown versus...
We haven't chased them out yet, so we need to try those new rules.
Yeah, we do need to have a look at them and give them a go, see what they're like now. We don't have any Dystopian Skies stuff yet, so it will just be a naval battle, not an aerial battle. We've got a podcast coming out. We're going to be hopefully interviewing Sarah Corkwell about her new novel, and we'll be hopefully doing more battle reports like this coming soon. So we would really appreciate any constructive feedback. If you enjoyed this format, if you'd prefer it as a live video, let us know. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Happy trails, pilgrims.